Hey everybody, it's Kevin from 3D Printed Props. Super excited about this cosplay and this whole series I'm going to be doing through the month of October. And this is going to be the Shape. That's right, Michael Myers, in celebration of the last movie in the series, Halloween Ends. I mean, I've been a huge fan of these and I'm super excited to do this cosplay. I think one of the reasons I'm really excited, Halloween 2 was the first horror movie I actually saw in the theaters. Like, I was old enough and I was able to go and I got to see it. But one of the other exciting things about it is this is one of those cosplays where you can actually find the stuff used in the movies and or really good replicas of those things. So the first thing we're going to do in the series is we are going to work on the coveralls. We're going to work on the famous coveralls. Now, these aren't the ones that were originally used in 2018 or in Halloween Kills. Those were discontinued. They're from a company called Workrite, and they were ultra soft coveralls, charcoal gray. Unfortunately, they were discontinued, but the really cool thing is another company, Legion Safety, they decided that they were going to sort of reissue these coveralls, and they had a version 1 that was pretty close. And then they said they were coming out with a version 2, and since I wasn't in a huge hurry, I knew Halloween was a ways off, I went ahead and put my name on the list to get those. And that's what these are. These are the version 2. And they are much more closely aligned to the ones that were used in the movie. They are crazy, crazy soft and comfortable. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be weathering these. So yes, you spend the money on something like this, and then you go ahead and make them dirty, but you would look ridiculous walking around as the Shape, as Michael Myers, in brand new coveralls. So the key thing we're going to do with these are a couple things. First things I already did was wash them. I washed them 2 or 3 times, did like a tumble dry on high, left them out in the sun for a while to sort of fade a little bit. You could add a little bleach if you want, but I didn't want to take a chance of ruining these. So I just sort of sun bleached them and then just sort of threw them around in the dirt a little bit. But now we're going to really, really weather these, because remember, these were from a mechanic. So we need to add grease, we need to add blood, we need to add some bullet holes where he was shot. And the other thing we're going to do a little bit of work on, not a ton, is the undershirt. And this is just a simple, it's a navy heather shirt. So you want to, if you want to have that sort of look, that texture, it's heather. And I think I got this on Amazon for $10, $11, $10, $12. It's just a Hanes Eco Smart t-shirt. Again, all the links for everything will be below for all these videos, but this was really super cheap. And again, it's what he's wearing. Now, you could get the actual brand, which I think is like a Navy Heather Gold something is the brand of it. I'll put that in the description below. But for 10, 12 bucks, I mean, this is the way to go. And the last bit of clothing we're going to be weathering and getting ready are the boots. Now, again, we are super lucky because we can look at stills and we can see what boots were used, and these are boots that you can get. Now, the boots that were used in the Halloween 2018 are Activate boots. There's a huge long name. It'll be in the description. Those are a little tougher to come by, and they can be a little bit expensive. But if we look at some photos, we can see when we've got all the Michaels there that they're actually using another pair in between the, during the movie and in Halloween Kills. And these are easier to get. They're still a little pricey. And these are a Wolverine pair of boots. These are Wolverine waterproof boots. They look really awesome. And I needed a new pair of winter boots, so I didn't really mind picking these things up. And again, these are screen accurate. These are the pair that he wore in the movie. So, we're totally lucking out here. It's really great. Again, these are a little pricey. They're about $60, $70. Weathering wise, I'm not going to paint them up or blood them up, only because I'm probably going to wear these in the winter. But so I'm going to do some light weathering. Hopefully people will be looking more up at the mask and the knife and the overalls. But it's really cool to have these screen accurate boots. Now, how am I going to weather these? Probably won't be showing it on screen. I'm literally going to wear them for a couple weeks, and I'm going to just rub some dust and some dirt on them from outside just to sort of break them in. But the other thing that's really cool about these, as you can see, we've got quite a bit of a heel, and that's going to be great for me because I am short. I'm coming in at like 5'6", and that is a lot shorter than the shape. I'm a much smaller shape, and these will help give me a couple inches of height that maybe will make me look a little bit more menacing. So this is really cool. I'm really excited about this. Let's go ahead behind the fake wall and start weathering up these overalls. Okay, so we're going to start out with an 80 grit sandpaper. Sounds pretty aggressive, but, I'm just applying varying pressure, but I thought, let's go ahead and, not have to rub forever. The 80 will do the trick. Now, like any time we're weathering, we want to make sure that we're thinking about how this suit is worn. What is it? It's mechanic's overalls. This is something that a guy worked in every day. And where is the wear going to happen? Well, one of the places I just figured it would happen quite often is the pocket. You're opening, you're closing it, you're putting pens in it, money in it, whatever. I noticed that this button got worn really, really fast. I mean, this is 80 grit sandpaper. So I really went ahead and wore it down to the point that there was a hole in it because I really thought I want this thing to look like this guy used these quite often. Now, it's always something when you're doing something like this and you're using, a piece of clothing or something that you purchased. These were $100+ and I'm, essentially, destroying them, quote unquote, destroying them. If you were using these for work, this is what would happen. Again, where else would we get a lot of wear? Your cuffs. Think about any shirt you have, your cuffs sometimes fray. So I'm really, really working the areas that I know are going to be affected by the guy using them, the mechanic using them, and then later on, Michael using them. Where, are things going to be maybe people grab onto when they're trying to, get him to stop killing him? Where are areas going to really, really take some damage? And I definitely thought that, between the cuffs and, the bottoms of the legs, the hem, are really going to need some wear to show through. And then we're going to go through everything. Again, pockets. This thing's got a bunch of pockets. We want to really wear those pockets. The collar, you got to think it's always rubbing against the neck. Where is natural wear going to happen? And then we get to the fun part, just some cheap acrylics, a little bit of water, and an old brush. And we are going to be greasing these up. Remember, mechanic overalls. We're talking grease, we're talking dirt. Where does dirt and grease settle? Usually it's going to settle in the seams, in the cracks, and it gets in there and it kind of stays there. Then I'm going to add a little bit of water because it was pretty much too much just of pigment. And I'm just going to go through and start painting this stuff on and rubbing it in with my hands. And this is just cheap acrylic and water. All the links will be below. And I'm, working it into those seams where grease would get in over years and years of using these things. And again, where else would we have it? We're going to have it all over, basically. But I figured this part here, you're wiping your hands, you're definitely going to have some, grease stains there. And again, I'm just going through everything in pockets. So let's say your hands are all greasy. So what are you going to do? You're going to reach for your pocket and it's going to get greasy. Now, this isn't super noticeable, but I always like to add splatter like that because, again, we're layering. And we're not only layering, wear, we're layering a story. So I'm going to go through and just keep on weathering this thing with these acrylics in places where I know dirt is going to accumulate. And again, really going to hit these sleeves because you figure you're in a car, you're working on things. Then I put a little bit of paint on just a paper towel, and I'm thinking, I'm wearing these and I'm wiping my hands down my pant leg. And now it's time for bullet holes, and I'm actually using Cosplay Chris's video he did because it was easier than looking up a photo. And I'm marking it out with a Sharpie. I figured red, why not? This way, if it doesn't catch everything, I'm covered. I'm using an X-Acto blade to just sort of score that up, and then really going in there with this aggressive rasp pulling it in and out until it looks like, you know, there's a hole there. And I'm going to use some metal cast paint because it's a nice dark color, and some inks, and we're just going to go ahead and paint in the deeper red first. This is the spray paint, and I'm just sort of moving it around, making it look as natural as possible. Again, when you're weathering or you're painting these distressed things on, don't, you know, try to get these uniform shapes. Just move your brush around, have fun with it. Again, I figured he's going to have a ton of blood on his sleeves, so I really gooed the sleeves up. I didn't want to go too crazy, but everywhere with blood. But the sleeves made sense. You're holding a knife, it's dripping down. You really need that. Then I went ahead and I wanted a little bit of a pop, so I used those inks to actually give it a little bit of a red color there. Now, once we're done with this, we're actually just going to do some really simple weathering on this shirt. I've got some black acrylics on there, and since you're really only seeing the collar area here, I'm just rubbing it with some acrylics. I thought it looked, you know, I wasn't really too happy with how this thing looked at this point, so I wiped it off with my hands. I'm still not too pleased again. You know, you got to roll with it. If you're not happy with something, try something else. And I was like, this is not working. So I figured this guy sweats a lot. So I turned around and I grabbed the water bottle that I usually use for watering down my paints. I sprayed it with the water bottle, sort of ground it up in my hands, and then when it dried, it really looked like sweat and grime. Okay, so here they are, the Legion Safety Halloween Kills overalls. These are the version 2, and I am super happy with how these things came out. They are very comfortable. Again, I don't know, should I be the Black Phone or should I be Michael Myers at New York Comic Con? Leave some comments below, but these are pretty comfortable and I could see myself wearing these for the day. Now, if you like this video, please click like and subscribe. Hit that little bell for the next in the series, because pretty soon we're going to be doing the full suit up, and I cannot wait to see how that looks. This has been a really fun series. I don't know if you can tell I'm smiling so much during all of them. I just love these movies, and I love, forgot how much I like researching and doing all this cosplay stuff. So thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.